Hi there, this is Pacharee of Brandnow Digital. This month of May, actually we just have a few days to go, May is Mental Health Month. And today I have with me my friend and coach, 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗂𝗏𝗄𝗂, who has generously made himself available for this discussion about mental health. So before getting into that discussion, I would just want to give a little short introduction. Nick and I have known each other for a couple of years, and I'm really grateful that he has not just coached me, but also my team. He's a professional coach, and he is the founder of the Inner Spark Group, and he helps entrepreneurs get unstuck. So one of the ways that he helped our team get unstuck was to do a vulnerability group exercise. He came into our office one day, and he asked people various questions, and this helped the team to see each other in a different light. How we appreciated each other, but we had not articulated in the past. And then also areas where we could improve that would help and improve facilitating the teamwork in our group. So without further ado, I'd like you to meet Mr. 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏𝗏. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Pacharee, thank you for having me. It really means a lot. And I think what we're going to talk about is so important to so many entrepreneurs and business owners. And I really think that, burnout and mental health are things that everybody would do better to know more about.
Absolutely. So let's just start with the basics, right? So what is mental burnout and where does it come from?
So to me, I think there's a misunderstanding because I think of where mental burnout comes from. Because to me, I think traditionally we all think mental burnout comes from the outside in, like either my boss or is having a hard time around my employees or like this, or it's the workload, or it's a lot of our expectations not being met. And to me, if you look at it that way, it causes more mental burnout, because I think for every business owner, entrepreneur, or anybody who has like ambitious, I think their knee-jerk reaction is to try and control and manipulate those things. Well, if that's causing the burnout, then that needs to reduce. I need to change my boss. I need to change my employees. I need to change these outside circumstances. And that's just a lot more time and energy. And to me, what people might not know is, or see, is because we're living in the experience of our thinking, meaning the mental burnout is coming from our own experience, right? And you can see this because the things that you think are making you burn out are the things that somebody else might thrive on. Someone might love pressure and they might strive in difficult situations, and you might not. So then mental burnout becomes very personal and subjective. And so when you can see that the thing that's causing the burnout is really your own thinking about the situation, and the moment you can, to me, with my clients, the moment you can see that, there comes a natural detachment to that thing. And like my mentor, Michael Neal, said, is the moment you see that you're stabbing yourself in the leg with a fork while you're trying to run a marathon, it doesn't make sense to keep stabbing yourself in the leg. And right. And so I guess if you're listening to this, would be to really take a closer look at what about what you're facing is causing you to burn out. What about it looks uncomfortable to you? And just that, I think that gentle looking will yield you a lot of insights.
So I like your analogy about stabbing yourself in the leg while you're trying to run a marathon.
Right.
Now, how do you know if you're doing that?
So that's a good question, because that relates to what I do, right? How do you know that question to me is, how do you know you're off track?
Yeah.
To me, I think if you're triggered, if you're upset and you're angry and you find that it's happening a lot, you're probably stabbing yourself in the leg, unless someone's physically doing that. I had a client who came to me one day and she was absolutely certain that her boss was the biggest a-hole in the world, and she was going to quit and she was going to work at a different company, and she was deemed high potential, which means this is the person that the company tapped as being for growth, to get promoted. And you can imagine I was pretty worried. It's like, I'm getting so burnt out, I can't deal with this person. And what we did was we decided to table it, which means we put that problem on the table for later. Like we'll deal with that. We put that on the back burner. And we both forgot about it completely. And she came back a couple months later, like, oh yeah, I went to dinner with my colleagues and my boss. It's so great. I love the culture here. I was like, wait a minute. Same boss? She's like, oh yeah. I was like, what happened? She's like, well, I kind of forgot about it. And then it passed. And what actually, so now she's gotten a big promotion and she secured a very prestigious career position. So what happened with that was she was able to consciously put the issue on the back burner. So all of her time and energy didn't have to deal with it anymore. So that's how she got over that. And I think we chew on things so much in our heads and it takes up so much bandwidth that of course you're tired and angry and frustrated. Yeah.
What do you think could have been the opposite scenario to that? So let's say if she wasn't able to put that on the back burner,
right,
and wasn't, able to see her colleagues or her supervisor in a different light,
right.
What would have been the impact on her role and her effectiveness in the business?
Okay, that's a really good question, because given that she is such a high performer, her knee-jerk reaction is, I need to change my boss. And anybody who's ever had a boss knows that that doesn't really work ever. You need to change my boss. That's not going to happen. And because that can't happen, I imagine frustration would have increased and she probably would have quit and got a different job and faced the same problem somewhere else. Right? When you meet an immovable object, like you tend to move. And so let's look at that. Because she was able to see through it, she saved herself a lot of time and energy in transition, and she made way more money in her new career position and had more opportunity. Yeah. So that's cool, because mental burnout does cost you a lot of time, energy, and money that you don't see.
Do you think there's this pattern a lot to people? What does it take, to step back? I remember just even in my younger career days, I think I was, very A-type personality.
Yeah.
There's still parts of that still exist in me, but I've learned to chill out a lot more, having become a mom and, managing additional things that you realize that you have to put your energy in certain ways. Otherwise you're gonna burn the candle at both ends and it's really exhausting. So what does it take to bring that out to the forefront? Some people, like the person that you previously coached, you said it was easy for her to just kind of put it on the back burner. What if you can't?
So it definitely was not easy for her. She fought me tooth and nail until I kind of put my foot down and said, like, look, like, just for now, because I told her, this links to the next part that we're going to talk about of how this affects your business, right? I think for me, it takes a seeing that, like I said, going back to the stabbing your leg in the fork analogy, if you don't know you're doing it, you're going to keep doing it because you think the pain drives you or makes you run faster. But the moment you see that, like, for example, take type A personalities who really thrive on making things happen. And one of their strengths, what looks like a strength, but is actually a weakness, is control. Right? Oh, I can make this happen. I can control the situation. But if that's driving you up the wall and causing you to lose sleep and it's skewing your perspective and your business acumen, that's going to hurt you financially because your decisions are off. You know what I mean? And so for me, I guess it takes a slowing down and like, okay, wait, like get a curiosity, being less afraid than curious. So if we take this case study, for example, oh, my boss is the biggest a-hole. So automatically that's like threat. Like, okay, am I gonna grow in this job? Am I gonna get fired? Is this gonna work? Like that, to me, that's fear. And the moment you slow down, like, okay, well, why am I upset at this? It's the going back to curiosity. Like maybe I'm the a-hole here. like it takes a habit of reflectiveness and curiosity. Like I've done that. I went back and looked back and like, oh, I'm the a-hole here. Like, it's like, my bad.
Yeah. Okay. So the impact then is making bad decisions.
Right. And that's
repeating the pattern. Is that what you're saying?
Right. And I think, I'll ask you this. To me, especially if you're a leader in an organization, if you make enough bad decisions, you'll probably tank the company. You can drive a company in the ground with enough bad decisions. And you can also take it to the next level of impact and revenue if you make enough of the right decisions. So, okay, that's cool. I just saw it becomes simple math. If you're burnout and you're stressed all the time, it's really hard to make the right decisions. Because you have to, it's like driving drunk. Like you wouldn't let your friend drive home drunk, but you're going to let yourself lead a company drunk on insecurity, fear, and doubt. To me, that's stabbing yourself in the leg with a fork. But once you see it, it's like, wait, I do, if your intention is to grow your company to success and you genuinely want to make better decisions, it's helpful to look at this thing that's keeping you from doing that.
And what's the process of looking into that? Besides the curiosity, like, because not everybody is, I think all children naturally have curiosity, but I think education and sometimes working in large corporations beats it out of you. So
that's really important you said that. You said probably the key to the whole thing is children are naturally curious, which means that was built into your system. And so to me, it's an awareness. I guess one of the ways is to listen to this talk and hang out with you and me. And to me, it's just being able to notice how fast your mind is going. And if it's going too fast, then you know to slow down. So I think, like, if we take an example of physical health, right? Because we're talking about mental health. So physical health, a person might know they're unhealthy if they step on the scale and the number looks like something they're not comfortable with. Like, okay, either I'm too heavy or I'm too light, right? So indicators. So with mental health, it's, am I pissed off all the time? That's probably a good indicator. Am I tired all the time? Am I frustrated all the time? Am I annoyed all the time? Am I lashing out at people? Those are the indicators that tell you that you're off. So the first thing is to know you're off. The second thing to know is when you're off is to slow down. And slowing down means like letting go of the thing for a bit and just letting yourself settle. And how do you know you're settled is you feel better. You don't feel as compelled to change the situation. You feel like, okay, well, let me take a fresh look at this. And this simple process has helped clients take 10x their business, secure prestigious career positions, or have breakthroughs with their teams. It's a very simple and highly effective process.
I see. So, but I like what you said about people that needing to take a step back, feeling better. But there's also a dark side to that, right? So there's some people who suffer from mental health. And instead of, like, the way they step back, it's not through, meditation or, doing some kind of retreat. Instead, they could be doing other things that are destructive to them, putting another fork in the other leg, right? They could be doing drugs. They could be, over consuming alcohol. They could be, having sex addictions or something as a form of as a relief. So
that's a great point. And that actually points us in the direction of mental health. So similar to what you said about how children are naturally curious, they're also naturally mentally healthy. If you take a closer look, you'll see that they're actually pretty good mentally. And to me, that's probably the biggest key here, is to know that you're sitting in mental health and you don't know it. Like, if you stop messing with the system, your system will return to its natural balance state, which to me, this is our natural state. It's kind of okayness. It's not like pumped up, like, oh my God, we can do it. Not like, oh, like fearful, but this is our natural state of this very equanimity of okayness. And if you think your okayness is outside of you, of course you're gonna be addicted to drugs or alcohol or sex, because if that's where your okayness, like, yeah, that makes sense. But you really have to see it, that to me, drug and alcohol addiction is really a cry for mental health, because that's what you think will quiet your mind. that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Right. And
Right?
it takes,
Because you
yeah,
need that. You
you
need
need
that
that to feel better,
external.
right? To feel
Yeah.
good, right? And so, this goes back to living in the feeling of your thinking. If your boss looks like he's the threat, you will spend time, money, and energy to avoid it, including getting a new job, only to meet the same problem over there, right? But the moment it stops looking scary, you don't need to do that. The moment you see that you can feel like your mental health is inside of you, addictions make a lot less sense naturally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then how does good mental health impact the business then?
I'd say, we'll use physical health as a good example. Like if you're like, I think everybody can relate to this. Like, when you're eating healthy and you're eating clean and you're physically fit and you do yoga and you're flexible, like you just feel better in your body. Your body is more able to do better things. You can run a marathon, you can lift heavier weights, like your body just performs better. When you tap back into your mental health, you do better. You make better decisions. Remember, we talked about the better decisions you make, the better your business will be, the more money you'll make, the better, and communication gets better because you're no longer reacting to people, you're responding to people. Your relationships improve. All across, it's one of those key, I don't know what they call it. It's one of those key factors that improve, that raise the bar and everything. And that's the secret too. Because if you're listening to this and you're at a certain level in your business and you're dealing with mental burnout, imagine how much better you could do when you don't need to deal with that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
I think maybe you can speak to this. Have you ever had maybe inner nudges of maybe your inner wisdom where you just knew what to do in your business, like directional
All the time.
right? Okay. So burnout gets in the way of that. And even like that's your greatest resource of kind of your intuition of knowing where to go and what to do in your business. But you can't tap into that if you're so busy putting out fires in your own head. Yeah. So,
like I had this thing, just was it Monday?
Yeah.
That I reached out and I said, hey Nick,
yeah,
did you know it's mental health month?
yeah,
And then it's like I get these I call it in Thai, I call itแบบเทพกำลังพูด, or in English that would be like
inner
angels are
nudges.
talking.
Inner nudges, that's what we call them. And like that's a very real business resource, and not a lot of people respect that.
Oh, I find it when I don't respect it or I don't adhere to it, something bad happens.
Yeah.
Something falls off the wayside, and I don't know why, but it's been like that, I think, a good 20 some years now. Like even during our discussion as we're about to come on this talk in the recording session, I mentioned to you this other project.
Right.
So, yeah, it just comes up, and then and then it's like something tells me, oh, you need to tell Nick about that.
Right.
Because that's something potentially you could collaborate on together.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I've had inner nudges to go ask somebody to lunch, and that lunch has changed my life. Or it's helped me make hundreds and thousands of dollars. And it's not my own strategy. It's just go here, do that. And to me, and that's really a core part of my work, is the more you can attune to that and stay on track with listening to that, you will get to where you want to be faster in less time, with less stress and less pressure. And you'll probably go way beyond. I work with one client who, Banana Warrior, Julia.
Yes, Julia.
Yeah. She, when we first worked together, she was saying, down the road, I hope to open a cafe one day in London, and that will be my dream business, because she was doing online delivery for her Banana Warrior vegan desserts. Plug to Julia, by the way, if you're listening to this, go check it out. At 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏 is the best vegan dessert experience you'll ever have in Bangkok. Like Lucano.
It's delicious. Yes.
Yeah. So, and I'm saying this because her story was so cool in that when she got on track with what we're talking about, and she really started to express her truth into her world and really started to thrive in her business, the opportunity to open a cafe at 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏 came to her. Someone just offered it to her, and she was blown away, because she thought, oh, I had to do this. I had to save up money. We have to go rent a shop house. And she got prime real estate, the most like the fanciest malls in Bangkok. And then she blew up from there. And blew up meaning like she just grew from there. And she loves a cafe. If you go to her cafe, there is so much love and intention every single part of that restaurant cafe. And so that's an example of what happens when you follow your wisdom. And you can't follow it if you're stuck on burnout.
Right.
Yeah.
The intuition, yeah, because to me it's like an intuitiveness, right? That comes to you. So how does somebody tap into it besides like, okay, quieting the noise, stop being reactive?
Right.
What other things could they be doing to tap into that wisdom, that inner wisdom?
So the cool part about this is it's given, it's not earned. So I'm going to speak more of that distinction. You don't have to meditate a million years to get this. You don't have to go to Tibet and be a monk to come out with like, it was like, it's always there. And if you don't believe me, look at any child. Like no child really needs needs to go to school to learn how to walk. There's something in that system that naturally drives them to learn how to walk on 2 feet. So if you know it's given and you know it's always there, even when things look like they're all going to hell and you're at your worst, you're always sitting in it. And so for me, people are going to hate it. Like it's less of a doing, it's more of a noticing. So you could call that a doing. Like it's more paying attention, because to me, the more you kind of pay attention to it, the more it becomes available to you. It to me also, and this is some deep work that I'm going to give to y'all because Pacharee is my good friend. What I found is there are 2 things you need to give up to really get this. And this is going to be like 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏. It's you need to give up your independence and your freedom. Because to me, this looks more like a relationship. Most people try and use intuition like a tool to get somewhere. But if you look at it like a relationship, is how can you get the most out of the relationship if you're still trying to, if you're not willing to give yourself to it? Does that make sense? It'd be like you're dating someone like, I like you, but I'm not going to give myself completely to you because I don't really trust you. That relationship will not thrive and will not go far. So if you look at it like a relationship, because that was my story, like I kind of used it as a tool, but then when I really learned to just give myself to it and treat it like a relationship, that's when the wisdom became a lot more louder. And I think as kind of people who strive to create things, we're so used to having control and independence. But in a real relationship, those are the things you give up to get more of that. Isn't that a cool paradox? The more you give up your freedom and independence to this relationship of wisdom, the more you get those things through the results you're creating. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it is.
Because you're not, if you're not really free, you're not free. You think you're free, but you're not really free if you're always dealing with burnout. Right? And you're not really independent if this thing is like your monkey on the back all the time. Like it's not real. But the moment you can give those things up, you will get that back times 100. Yeah. Does that make sense? What do you hear in that? Like, what did that land?
I know what you mean. It's like you do have a relationship with yourself.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people forget that because they operate more like everything is external.
Yeah.
And then everything else is only like existing
in your head,
in mind, right?
Right.
But without but I personally think you have a relationship with your body. You have a relationship with your soul.
Right.
How you feed the soul, how do you care for yourself?
Right.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, and listen to those things. And they talk to you, right? They talk to you in various ways.
Here, and because we're speaking of mental health, a point in a direction I think would be helpful for everybody. And I'll give you an exercise is listen to your body. If you listen to your body, you'll know what you want to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people, I'm sure like if notice when you're stressed and you have anxiety, you tend to want to eat not healthy things like sugar or fatty foods, right? But if you listen to your body, you'll know you want a salad. Like you'll know what your body wants to eat. And sometimes you might need a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? But it's a different way of being in life. And the exercise is if you're listening to this, and after you finish listening to this, just give yourself 5 minutes, 5 complete minutes, and just do what it occurs to you to take care of yourself. That's it. Do what it occurs to you to take care of yourself without really thinking about it. And you might feel drawn to drink a glass of water, go for a walk, listen to music on YouTube. And so the cool part is, how did you know how to do that?
Mm.
Where did that knowing come from? Because I'm going to bet you didn't make a business plan on how to take care of yourself. Right? It occurs to you. And that's the space you really want to sit in to really not only thrive through burnout, but spend more time sitting in your mental health, which will positively impact your business in all areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Nick. So tell us, what you've got coming up. I know when we're about to get on this Zoom recording, you mentioned that you've got a program that you're rolling out. Talk to us about that.
Right. So after about 5 years of experimentation, I've really boiled down everything we're speaking to in a 4-month intensive. And it's everything we talked about. You immediately feel less stress and less pressure. You learn to get unstuck, and learning to get unstuck is different than someone helping you get unstuck, because when you learn to get unstuck, that's with you for the rest of your life. And then you learn a very simple 3-step process that helps you tune more into your wisdom, the thing that we're talking about now, which will positively affect every area of your business. Because it's true, when you're sitting in your wisdom, you make better decisions, you have better communication. And it takes just 4 months to get this. And that's it. It's one-on-one with me. It starts with a 2-day intensive, and then afterwards, it's the rest of the time we meet once every 2 weeks, and I help guide you through the obstacles, and I help point you back to your wisdom so you can do better in your business. And it's probably my favorite program. It's the program that people get the best results from, including they 10x their business, like Julia. They get prestigious career positions. They create new opportunities. They launch dream businesses, like coaching businesses. And it's the most effective thing I've found in this region.
So how can people find you?
So they can find me. So if you're cool enough, Pacharee might give you my phone number.
So they can stalk you.
They can stalk me. Or you can find me on LinkedIn at 𝗕𝗿𝗿𝗄𝗏. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. You can also find this offer that I'm talking about on my website at 𝗕𝗿𝗿𝗏.com, and you look at coaching, and it's for you, and the description for this program is on there. And I'm thinking about who's it's good for. I think the people who get the best results for it are people who like to strive to create things, people who are experienced in business and entrepreneurship, and they really want to get more out of themselves and perform better.
Yeah, and potentially, are you offering some short free consultation to determine a good fit for this program at this time? Because I imagine there's some business owners and some entrepreneurs who are going through some situations now because of the pandemic, right?
So I'm going to do something cool. Normally I don't, because the offer is pretty clear. But if you're watching this and you come to me and you tell me the password is 𝗔𝗰𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗲.
Okay.
And I'll give you a free consultation. So just on you, I don't do free consultations anymore. But if you come to me and you tell me the password is 𝗔𝗰𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗏, I'll give you a free consultation.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah. So only through Pacharee. The password is 𝗔𝗰𝗵𝗵𝗏. And if you say anything other than 𝗔𝗰𝗵𝗏, the answer is no.
Not purple turtle or anything.
Not purple turtle, but 𝗔𝗰𝗵𝗏.
All right, so 𝗔𝗰𝗵𝗏 it is. All right, so Nick, thank you so much. And before we go, I want to give everybody a little bit of tidbit. So in case you're wondering about Nick's full name, which is 𝗕𝗿𝗿𝗏, right? Yeah. So in Thai is 𝗕𝗿𝗿𝗏, and I was saying, is it like Nikon, like the camera? He goes, no. It's Nikon as in victory, as in the masculine version of Nike.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So if you're looking for victory,
That's a cool, that's a cool you know what, that's a good example of wisdom. See, my mom thought she was giving me a Thai name, but really she was giving me a Greek name that she didn't even know she was doing. So thanks, Mom. So that's a good example of wisdom right there. I didn't have to do anything. I was born, I was given this cool name. Boom.
There you are. The coach that will take you to victory. And shout out to Mom.
Yeah, shout out to Mom. Thanks, Mom.
All right, Nick. Thanks so much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll bring you on board next time for another discussion.
Thank you.
Sawadee-ka.
Appreciate it. Sawadee-ka. Done. It's at the bottom.